Good morning, still here from Los Angeles. Valerie Milano with the Hollywood Times and Aspiring Magazine. And I'm so glad to have our guest with us today. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jeane Marie. I am a singer-songwriter, number three on Billboard Hot 100, and I was just considered for two Grammys, and I'm also an advocate against domestic violence.
Love it. Thank you again for joining us,
Of
Jean Marie.
course.
Can you tell me a little bit about your connection to the LA Kings or players involved in what we're going to be talking about?
So, pretty much, I have some girlfriends who have dated athletes within the NHL. They're very close to me, and they have undergone some very traumatic experiences. They have been beaten, they have been abused, assaulted, and when I saw what was happening to them and I saw all of their bruises and injuries and just the way they had to uproot their entire life, I was so concerned. And me also being a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault, I took it upon myself to actually be a voice for them when they couldn't be one for themselves and just be an advocate against everything that they're going through.
Good for you. Good for you. We need people to come out like you against some of these players that centered around Wittman, Evander Kane, and Milan, Luzic, and more. At the time, what were some of the early signs or red flags that things weren't okay?
Oh, wait, you're cutting out.
I'm sorry. What at the time? What were some of the early signs, red flags behind closed doors?
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. That they weren't okay, and then it cuts
Yeah.
out.
What were some of the signs?
Some of the signs were just the black eyes, the just the kind of distancing themselves from their friend group, from their family, the isolation. That was a serious red flag. And then, not to mention the posting on social media, they would post these very cryptic kind of quotes on their story. And it just really, with all those three things, the isolation, the bruising, and then the cryptic posts, it was really clear to me that I needed to reach out and see what was going on. And unfortunately, when I did reach out, I was correct. They were going through the worst circumstances.
Yeah, so it seems like you came out because you were over all this domestic violence. You just had it, right?
Yeah, because I've been in the same position. I've been married, I've been in an arranged marriage. My background is actually Middle Eastern, so I have a lot of family that is Muslim. And being in that culture, although it is a beautiful culture and a beautiful religion, it doesn't really support women. And it actually is almost okay for men to beat their women. And it's okay for them to be very controlling and narcissistic. It's almost expected. So when I see things like this, especially with friends of mine or family of mine, it's super concerning. And I need to not necessarily force myself to be involved or get too, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like I'm trying to pry, but I need to do something so that they don't end up dead.
Oh, God, yes. Have you felt supported when you speak up? Obviously, have you felt supported? Have with the team, with the league, even law enforcement? Have you gone that far?
I have gone that far. I think my main mission and goal with all of this is for the NHL to create a domestic violence policy and to have them really uphold the values that are so important so that these women that are married and are girlfriends of these players are safe, especially my friends. So I've spoken to, I've emailed, I've spoken to different members while we were outside protesting, and they said that they were working on it, but no real change has actually been made.
you felt like it's taking a toll on your mental health or your day-to-day life?
Which part?
Any of it. Like your friends, they must be just they must be just so sad and sick about it, right?
No, they're super sad. And then not to mention, a lot of them were relying on their significant other, these players, for financial support. So it's a catch 22. Do I stay in this thing and be taken care of financially but abused physically? Or do I get out of this thing and start my whole life over, but at least I'm not getting abused every day? And that's what I've gone through. And that's what most women go through is, do I want to start over, or do I want to endure this crazy, toxic environment? And at some point, you really have to choose yourself. And even though it's hard, you do have to start over. But it's a lot easier when friends and family can support you. But the problem is, when you're in these relationships, you're so isolated. It's so hard to turn to your friends and family because you've been taken away from your friends and family. So I think we definitely need to create a safe space for these women. We definitely need to create a clear zero tolerance policy for domestic violence and sexual assault. I think there should be an independent group outside of the NHL, but that is contracted by them to really just look into these cases and make fair decisions, because a lot of this stuff gets swept under the rug. And I think that the media highlights a player coming back. Oh, he came back. Oh, he cleaned up his act and he got again. But it doesn't highlight what actually happened, which is the abuse. And that's what, unfortunately, I think if women know that these men are known offenders and abusers, they'll be less likely to put themselves in the rain of fire, if you will. And I also think that the league should require education and training. You know how when you start a new job and there's like courses or training to teach you how to behave and how to conduct yourself? I think the same thing should go for these athletes, especially within the NHL.
Feel safe right now mentioning any names of the
You're
players?
cutting out.
Do you feel safe right now mentioning?
No, I'd rather not, and that's just for my safety. Right now, there's people outside dying every day for much less. We're in LA. So, I'd rather not give names at this time, but if you're listening or you're watching or you're reading this, it's very easy to find online. It'll take all but 2 seconds. Yeah.
So I like what you just said. If you're watching, if you're listening, what would you say to other women, especially young girls, who may be going through something similar but are too afraid to speak up?
What I would say, and what I've been saying ever since I've been speaking up more on this issue, because I post a lot on social media. But what I do tell the women that reach out to me is, where are you, first of all? What city are you in? And then I pull up a list of resources for them, especially if they're in Florida or Los Angeles. I've actually endured their same situation. So I already have phone numbers and organizations they can go to. But if it's in another city, I have to look it up and then send them proper their proper like organizations and proper help groups, support groups. Also, do they have friends and family that they can stay with? Do they have a little bit of money saved? So I have a list of questions that I ask them that can get them out of that situation. And even though it's hard, start over.
On that note, Jean Marie, how can people watching and listening and reading find you? Website or social media? How can they find you?
They can find me on my website, which also has more information on getting help. And even if they don't want to speak to me directly, they can still find support on there. It has my music, it has all my newest videos, and that's www.jeanemarie.com. And I think, like women, we have to support each other, we have to love each other. because the men aren't going to. So we have to do it for each other.
Unfortunately, yes. And thank you
Yeah.
again for being with us. We're the Hollywood Times dot today, and our YouTube is the Hollywood Times official. And maybe the next time, let's interview you about your music. I would love that.
We could do it right now, Valerie. I would love to.
Okay, right now we're got to move on, but I will call you and we will do that next. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
darling. You have a great day. Bye,
You
Valerie.
too, sweetheart. Bye bye. Thank you
Bye.
again.